As a creative writing tool, Dramatica is different than any other software available for story development, and that's because of its patented story engine. The story engine is at the heart of the Dramatica software, and it tracks the interrelationships among scores of story points in character, plot, and theme. Whenever you make a dramatic decision in one part of the software, it's instantly reflected in all parts of the software. In this way, the Dramatica software ensures that you can jump from one creative endeavor to another while building a sound structural foundation for your story. The Story Engine window only shows about a third of the different story points that are tracked by Dramatica, but the ones it does show are some of the most impactful. So this is a good place to go if you want to create a quick structure, or also just to get a feel for how the story engine works. We'll do that now. When you make choices about how you want your story to feel to your audience and the subject matter you want them to see as being explored, you select from these menu items. For example, does your main character change or remain steadfast? Do they change like Scrooge or Luke Skywalker, or remain steadfast like Dr. Richard Kimball in The Fugitive? We'll just pick one arbitrarily here, change. And now we've put some information into the story engine. And from the original 32,768 story forms that we had to choose from, we've narrowed ourselves down to only 16,384 that have change main characters. What drives our main character? Well, it could be any one of these problems. These are in alphabetical order, but if you put them in order of meaning, it would be like a spectrum of colors, a rainbow, each one slightly different than the next, of the kinds of drives that might propel your main character through the story. Let's say our main character is propelled by having too much faith. That's the source of his drive, his problem, as it were. Well, now, some of these areas that originally said any have been limited down to any of 16 or any of 4, for example. This is because the Dramatica story engine has cross-referenced a character who changes, who is also driven by faith, and determined that out of the 32,768 story forms, only 256 work with this combination of dramatics. As you continue to make dramatic choices about your story, Dramatica's story engine cross-references the choices you make and begins to fill in other choices all by itself, as indicated by the words that are showing up in italics. Eventually, you'll end up with a single story form, the one story structure that reflects all of the dramatic choices you've made directly, with all of the other choices that have been predicted as being the only ones that can support the choices you specifically made. Because Dramatica's story engine is always running in the background, no matter where you're working in the software, it will ensure that you're always creating a perfect story structure.